Hello everyone, thanking into today's first video. So we're going to have a look at this tropical storm that is currently sitting across the southern parts of Mexico, Tropical Storm Cristobal, and that's going to be pushing northwards through the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days, and through Sunday into Monday. It's going to give an impact to the Gulf Coast of the United States. We think we're probably looking at Louisiana for the central impact, but many of the Gulf states could be impacted by heavy rain with this storm. There will also be very strong winds, of course, as it makes landfall on the Gulf Coast. So I'll get on that for you very short. Just say that if you're enjoying the content on the channel, then please can you like the video and also share it far and wide wherever you can. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click all notifications so you'll be notified when we are releasing content, live streaming, and so on, and doing the things that you are hopefully enjoying. Right then, so let's get into it. And I'm going to start off by having a look at the current position of Cristobal. So Tropical Storm Cristobal is just here across southern parts of Mexico, and if you have a look at what they're saying about this, so giving maximum sustained winds at the moment of 40 miles per hour with a set pressure of 998 millibars. It's moving the moment southeast at just 2 miles an hour. This is virtually a stationary tropical storm just sitting there and must be producing absolutely copious amounts of rain. Fantastic satellite picture here from the National Hurricane Center, so we can see with this white massive cloud just here exactly where Cristobal is sitting and has been sitting for several days. So the central points with this is that number one, damaging and deadly flooding has already occurred in portions of Mexico and Central America. Cristobal is expected to produce additional extreme rainfall amounts through to the end of the week. The heaviest additional rainfall is expected to be over southern Mexico and portions of the Yucatan Peninsula, while also extending along the Pacific coast from Chiapas to Guatemala and El Salvador. This rainfall could cause widespread life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides. Even though Cristobal has made landfall, tropical storm conditions will continue along and near the coast of Mexico through Thursday morning, especially over western Campeche, eastern Tabasco, and northern Chiapas states. Point number three is that Cristobal is forecast to re-emerge over the southern Gulf of Mexico on Friday, so it'll finally start to move away from southern Mexico on Friday. It'll re-emerge over the southern Gulf of Mexico on Friday and move northwards over the central and northern Gulf of Mexico over the weekend. There is a risk of storm surge, heavy rainfall, and wind impacts beginning over the weekend along portions of the US Gulf Coast from Texas to the Florida Panhandle. While it is too soon to determine the exact location, timing, and magnitude of these impacts, interest in these areas should monitor the progress of Cristobal and ensure they have their hurricane plan in place. So, of course, this is the current position of tropical storm Cristobal just there. It's going to start moving sort of tomorrow, really. So, through tomorrow, going to push northwards into the southern Gulf of Mexico and then carry on moving northwards through Saturday. And as we get from Sunday into Monday, we see that this tropical storm is forecast to make landfall in Louisiana. That's the central part of the cone. So that's like the main risk area at the moment, the state of Louisiana. It could make landfall like in the far east of Texas. It could be as far west as Mississippi. Western state of Mississippi, where it's making landfall. But the central sort of the central kind of prediction is that it's going to hit Louisiana. But of course, anywhere along this state is at risk of having significant. Anywhere along this Gulf Coast, I should say, is at risk of having significant impacts from this. Certainly from rain, torrential rain, and severe thunderstorms. And of course, where the storm itself is making an impact, there could well be very severe impacts with wind as well. Maximum sustained winds winds perhaps around 50, 60 miles per hour. It is forecast just remains tropical storm. They're not forecast for this to go up to hurricane status at this stage. Of course, it might pick up energy as it moves through the Gulf of Mexico on Friday and Saturday. Have to keep a close eye on it. At the moment, being forecast to stay as a tropical storm, so that should keep maximum sustained winds under 74 miles per hour. But nevertheless, it's going to be a big impact for the Gulf Coast. As we go through into the early part of next week, it's going down to a tropical depression as it moves further inland into southern parts of the United States. Right then, so let's have a look at some forecast models. So we begin with the GFS. So this is the midnight run of the GFS. Current position of Cristobal is down here, of course. It does sound like Crystal Ball, doesn't it? It's a very strange name. We go through to Saturday, and the storm is beginning to move northwards through the Gulf of Mexico, then into Sunday. Let's see what's happening then. So there it is. That is Tropical Storm Cristobal, then pushing northwards. Sort of Saturday night into Sunday, you'll get like the first thunderstorms and spells of rain heading on to that Gulf Coast. And as we go through Sunday itself, we find that Cristobal continues to push north. Again, the state of Louisiana looks like it's sort of the central position for the central part of this tropical storm, but many places along this Gulf Coast are going to be at risk of heavy rain, as National Hurricane Center states. There it is on Monday, so this is Sunday into Monday, and Cristobal then is like somewhere across southern parts of Louisiana and going into southern parts of Mississippi. So again, torrential rain and severe thunderstorms likely with this, copious amounts of rain, flooding, and also a storm surge is definitely possible along that coast. And it does look quite nasty as we're going through Sunday into Monday. Then the tropical storm pushes northwards further inland as we go through the early part of next week. It'll move northwards, becoming an area of low pressure, becoming subtropical as it goes further and further northwards. That's how the GFS is forecasting things. This is how the GM is looking. So again, the storm is awaiting the southern portion of the Gulf of Mexico at the moment. Going through to tomorrow, again, not really moving a great deal. It's really as we get through into the weekend that we'll find this storm moving. So we go through Saturday, there it is, through the middle part of the Gulf of Mexico then. And here it comes as you go from Saturday into Sunday. It starts to push northwards again. It's the state of Louisiana that is being forecast to get the central impact from this tropical storm Cristobal, and it pushes northwards through the course. So a little bit slower in pushing northwards with the GM compared to the GFS. In fact, it's just sort of sitting there off the coast of Louisiana as we go sunny into Monday. It's not moving as quickly. So I suppose that would be even worse, really, because that would provide that many hours of really severe and torrential rain over the state of Louisiana in particular. But again, many of these Gulf states will be impacted by this, and then it does finally start to move and pushes northwards early next week. Starts to move northwards in towards more central parts of America. And we've got the ECMWF as well, so let's just have a quick look at that. So again, this is how things look at the moment. We move through to the weekend, and then Tropical Storm Cristobal is starting to move northwards into the southern Gulf of Mexico. Here it comes through the course of Sunday into the central part of the Gulf of Mexico. Gives a big impact as we go through into late Sunday into Monday. And slightly more compact this, which is something that the ECM has been showing for a little while. It's a slightly more compact area of low pressure that we've got there. And I just wonder whether on the ECM, whether that would be enough to get it up to like category 1 hurricane status. I'm not sure, but definitely the National Hurricane Center isn't yet forecasting to go up to hurricane status, but that does look like quite a compact sort of storm, a little bit more so than the GFS and the GM. Of course, there will be greater wind impacts with that as well on that coast of Louisiana and also Mississippi, as the low pressure, the system itself, is rather more compact. I can't show you the precipitation with that, unfortunately. But let's just have a very quick look at the GFS precipitation forecast for this storm. So here we are on Friday. So you can see how much rain is associated with this tropical storm, as you would expect, of course. Yes, that starts to then push northwards as we go through into the weekend. You see how it's all the way along this Gulf Coast, really, that we've got this torrential rain possibility. So although Louisiana is like the central landing point for the eye of the storm, if you like, the central part of the storm, actually it's right the way along the Gulf Coast that we have got the risk of this very, very severe and torrential rain pushing northwards, and then it carries on moving northwards into the southeastern corner of the United States as we go through Sunday. Torrential thunderstorms, mudslides, flooding, definitely a significant possibility right way along this Gulf Coast from Sunday and into Monday, courtesy of Tropical Storm Cristobal. So it continues to look rather worrisome for southern parts of the United States on that Gulf Coast at the moment. And of course, anybody along that coast that's watching this, as the National Hurricane Centre says, do make sure you are prepared for what could be quite a significant impact over the weekend and into the early part of next week. And of course, at the moment, thoughts are with people in Central America, Mexico, and so forth. That have been sat under this tropical storm now for several days, so it must be phenomenally wet through some of those central parts of America right now. Okay then, so if you've enjoyed this look at Tropical Storm Cristobal, please can you like the video and share it, and also let us know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. These videos aren't being embedded onto gazmovies.com, the website, but we keep them as YouTube only, so subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when we release more videos like this, and we're going to be doing plenty more through this Tropical Storm hurricane season. We think it's going to be quite a big hurricane season, so plenty more to come. And if you've enjoyed it, then please let us know in the comments. We've got a forecast for the week ahead coming up for the United States later on. That'll be early evening US time, late evening UK time. Of course, that will cover what's going on with Cristobal as well as the rest of the United States weather for the coming week. Okay, that's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.